Hello, this is Powergate92. So earlier this week, I noticed what appeared to be a incomplete early draft schedule for a future scheduled change for MeTV Toons was posted on Titan TV for KEJR in Phoenix and KMOH in Kingman, Arizona, as well as broadcasted on KEJR-EPG. Of note on this schedule is two former Kids WB shows, both of which have not aired on TV since the late 2000s, being Mucha and We Jam Superheroes, which We Jam Superhero has not aired on TV since it completed its run on Kids WB in 2008, and Mucha has not rerun on TV since it last aired on Cartoon Network in 2009. Now, going into this schedule, from midnight to 7 a.m. appears to be the late night Sunday schedule because this is scheduled for KMOH, which the MeTV Toons, they usually do start and end the schedule at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., depending on the time zone of KMOH, it would be 7 a.m. So starting at 7 a.m. is where the new schedule appears to start. So this is obviously a draft and incomplete. So some big changes that appear on there is that it shows 2 episodes of Beetlejuice during the 8 o'clock hour, Superhawks at 9:30, and then an hour of Inspector Gadget at 10, and then it goes into a new show, What Wine Is the Lionhearted, at 11, which had previously been confirmed by Neil Sabin and Jerry Beck at Coming to MeTV Toons, and then Plastic Man at 11:30. It then goes into How Hanna-Barbera and Popeye and Pals, and then Beetlejuice again at 3 o'clock, followed by Captain Planet at 3:30, The Will Adventures of Johnny Quest at 4, and finally Mucha at 4:30, before going to an hour of Speed Racer, an hour of Popeye and Pals, and then a 30-minute House of Hanna-Barbera, and then what appears to be a gap in the schedule after Huckleberry Hound, causing it to appear to be an hour and a half, but most likely there's just a gap in the schedule there due to it being an incomplete early draft. After that, there's Johnny Quest showing at 9, Duck Dodgers showing at 9:30, and then 10 p.m. where Legion of Superhero falls, followed by Superhawks at 10:30, Wait Till Your Father Gets Home at 11, Wine Is the Lionhearted at 11:30, and then going into the late night, The Wacky World of Tex Avery at midnight, an hour of Speed Racer at 12:30, an hour of Marine Boy at 1:30, and then what appears to be a gap in the schedule before going into what is the current schedule with Super Friends, Superhawks, Challenge to the GoBots, and then the known strings attached block. Now, we don't know if this is supposed to be a weekday schedule or if this is supposed to be a Saturday or Sunday schedule, but it appears that it is incomplete and a draft that was accidentally posted online for June 2 when it was actually meant for a later date. My guess is that this schedule will probably go into effect sometime at the end of June, either on the 23rd, the week of the 23rd, or the week of the 30th. And if this is a weekday schedule, it's messing several of the popular cartoon shorts to have Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, Harvey Toons, and Woody Woodpecker, along with Cartoon All-Stars and Tune In With Me. And there's a possibility that those may fall into some of the gaps that appear on the schedule and some of the programs which appear on the schedule multiple times, such as Beetlejuice and Speed Racer and Popeye, along with House of Hanna-Barbera, and that could probably be cut back to 1 hour. So, I wouldn't look too much into that, as this is most likely just an early draft where they are just looking at trying to figure out what goes best where and getting feedback still. So the final schedule will probably have those shows somewhere in there, and some of these shows may appear at different times, but it still gives a good idea of what is coming to MeTV Toons in the case of Mucha Lucha and We Jam Superheroes. It also of note that if this is a weekday schedule, some of these shows, such as Johnny Quest and Legion of Superheroes, don't have that many episodes, along with Duck Dodgers. So these shows could end up going into a rotation with other shows month over month, as we have seen in the past with some other shows like Wacky Races and Penelope Pit Stop, with rotated in and out, along with Peter Promise and Secret Swirl and Aunt Adam. So most likely there will be some rotation there if this is a weekday schedule. But the schedule is not final, and we will probably see a final schedule depending on when the schedule is supposed to take place sometime in the next week. And hopefully we will still have some of these new additions on the final schedule.